Hello everyone and welcome to Toku Portal Podcast. I'm Ryan, with me is...
Decade. And today we're talking about Kishiryu Sentai Ryusoulger, episode 15. So, Crayon is with Waizaru, decorating their new base. That parking garage.
Decorating doesn't describe it. They have a disco ball.
Yeah. I think we all know whose choice the disco ball was.
And then Crayon is hanging up posters. They got multicolored curtains as a door.
Yeah, it's much more colorful than the Greed's hideout.
This is like the back room of an 80s club where you do drugs.
Yeah, pretty much. We'll see how long that lasts. So, they hear some heavy footsteps. It's a new Druidon, Getchuleus. Weird name. And yeah, right off the bat, he's interesting. He basically refuses to answer any of their questions and keeps asking why he should answer them. So Waizaru just gets irritated and leaves.
This guy... so first off, this guy's existence answers, a big question we've had, which is, what are the Druidons? Are they a hierarchy? What's going on here? Because for a while, all it was Crayon and Tankjo, and then Waizaru showed up and is apparently a Druidon, even though he was off-planet. But this guy coming in like he's above them, it's like, alright, so there is a hierarchy going on here, and this guy is high up.
Yeah, even from his design, he seems like on Tankjo's level. And he is pretty smart.
At first I thought he was Tankjo's dad.
Yeah, he's like, they have similar designs. He's like a naval version. But yeah. The three knights are reading the newspaper. Then Ui's dad brings up the legend of Urashima Taro. Basically goes to some underwater land, comes back, and several hundred years have passed. And Melto interrupts him and says that he was probably from the Ryusoul tribe. Then he interrupts him again and says that there may be others out there, like the Prime Minister. And then we get the opening.
That didn't need a comparison to Urashima Taro to, draw that conclusion, but I'm glad that they're incorporating Japanese lore and myth.
Yeah, it makes it more interesting. So Ui's at a park, wondering what her next video should be about. Finally, she gets some more screen time. She spots a couple on a date.
I know! I'll just use this couple as a spy on this couple for my next video!
Yeah, I don't think that would be okay, especially in Japan where they're so strict about that sort of thing.
She took pictures. There was straight up a camera, shutter in there.
Yeah. So, she's taking pictures, the guy gives the girl a rose, but she rejects it, and tells him she's tired of how, basically,
fussy
psychological he is. Yeah.
He's very fussy and he doesn't nitpick, but he's very you should be doing things like this kind of
particular. Yeah,
particular, that's the word. He's not nitpicky, but he's very particular.
Yeah. So basically, earlier he asked if she turned off the bathroom light when she was done
in a
restaurant.
Yeah, he asked her in the restaurant, loud enough for other people to hear. That was where she drew the line.
So he explains that it's not about money, that it's basically, preserving resources. Of course, we all know where he's coming from. But another girl approaches him and says that she feels the same. So he gives her the rose instead. Ui is shocked, and they literally have the thunder sound effect in the background.
I mean, I was criticizing Ui for spying them at first, but at this point, it's like, yeah, okay, I'm interested in what's going on here.
Both would probably watch that. So a Minosaur rampages. The man, who is named Anelo, asks the girl Akane to close her eyes and wait. Ryusoul changes. Of course, he's the Gold Ranger. And Ui records. He quickly defeats the Minosaur with his automatic blaster thing.
So this is Kiryu Gold's new design.
Yeah. Still lightning thing. Just different dinosaur.
So when he does his Kiryu change, he has a unique change where pieces of the suit float around him like armor before attaching to his body, and I vastly prefer that for like their transformations. But then later in the episode, he just does the standard one that the others use, and it's like, why? Why would you tease me with a better one only to go back to this one?
They're cheap, I guess. So, Gachileus isn't bothered and tells Creon to just move on to the next Minosaur.
So here's an interesting point. Creon asks, "Aren't you surprised?" And he asks, "Why should I show surprise?" And in my head I'm thinking, because you should show any sort of reaction as to why that plan failed and how you could improve upon it. Like, hey, your monster was literally just killed in one hit. Aren't you going to take any of that in consideration?
Yeah. Well, I think maybe he already
did, yeah. Like, why should he show any emotion about it? Because it's... I was about to say it's human, but these guys aren't human.
No. They're just born from slime and negative emotions. So then we get some inner dialogue from Creon, and it basically says, "It was at that moment that I became unable to laugh."
Oh.
Kind of a weird change of pace.
I like that Creon is getting character, though.
Yeah.
And I'll have more to say on it later.
Yeah. So Ui shows the other knights. Akane is following Kanalo. Then a man confronts them. It's her boyfriend. And then he collapses, obviously, because he's the host this time. Akane rushes over and takes him home.
What was Akane's plan here? Was like she going to? Okay, so we find out later that Akane buys her boyfriend like all this expensive stuff, and that she's in debt. So was her plan to like swindle Cornello out of money or something?
Now that you mention it, that
like what was her plan?
He's dressed quite well, so maybe that was. Yeah.
This question does not get answered this episode.
Showing up next time, so. Oh well. Ko and Asuna introduce themselves. Of course, he refuses to side with them because his mission is to find a wife.
So 2 weeks ago, I was telling you about this guy and told you, "Oh, you're gonna love when you find out why he comes to the surface."
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah. That's something.
There's an actual reason for it that they haven't gone into this episode, but yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I figured he's probably some sort of nobility or something, and he has to continue the line or something. But it's still pretty ridiculous.
It's great.
Yeah. So, Naoto calls them. He's fighting a tough Minosaur. The other four back him up, but its strong ultrasonic attack and water shield are too much for them. And despite its victory, Gachiles orders Creon to keep working and make 500 more of that Minosaur.
So the Minosaur's abilities are interesting this time around. We know that the Minosaurs all have abilities and phrases based on the user. So this one keeps saying drink, right? Akane's boyfriend is a bartender, isn't he? Or something like that?
Yeah.
So I think like the abilities of the monster are kind of meant to simulate the effects of alcohol.
Yeah. We
Is
don't get too much into it, but yeah.
that might be a bit too specific, but like yeah, that would explain like the weird ultrasonic attack that kind of disorients them.
Yeah, that is true. As for the water shield, who knows? But that's why this thing gets defeated in one episode.
Also, Gagileus or whatever his name is the weirdest forward thinker. Like, alright, this one monster seems to be holding his own against the Ryusoulgers. Let's just make 500 of this one. Like, are you sure about that? How much thought have you put into this?
Well, it seems like he put a decent amount, but he probably did not account for gold showing up.
I don't think he really accounted for it. I think he saw, alright, this seems to work. Let's double down on it 500 times.
Yep.
Like, I don't think, like, he did one test run, is what I'm trying to get at here.
Yeah.
He did one test run, was like, okay, they didn't get past the monster's defenses. And you know what, I just realized that's his problem, his arrogance. He assumed that, like, alright, they didn't get past his defenses this time, they won't get past his defenses ever.
Mm-hmm.
He did not think this through.
Yeah. Or he was just going for, like, what's called the Zerg strat, and just make 500 more as soon as possible, so they don't even have time to...
Of one monster that seemed to work.
Yeah, so they don't even have time to come up with a strategy, they're just over...
I mean, you make 500 of any monster, and
yeah.
You're gonna give them trouble.
Yeah, I think even 500 of the grunts would be pretty tough for them to handle. Speaking of which, where do those things come from? Who knows? But Akane is taking care of her boyfriend, the doorbell rings, and then she apologizes, saying she'll pay back the money she owes.
Right, she's in debt.
It's kind of...
Right, it's like an offhanded comment, but it adds story without having to go through exposition, which is something that this show has been experimenting with, and I like it. We're able to just piece together, like, she's in debt. She's buying this guy all this fancy stuff. There you go.
Yeah. So it looks like Akane's boyfriend is in some sort of nighttime entertainment business. I'm thinking he's like a host or something, which is basically, for those of you that don't know, it's like the male equivalent of a cabaret club, because he's got a bunch of expensive clothes and
like a bunch
watches and
yeah, he's got like a line of Rolexes.
Yeah.
All bought for him by Akane. And again, Akane is in debt.
Yeah. Not a very good relationship. But they're high school sweethearts, so oh well.
And Konella makes the best comment, like, this is a waste. He's just like, yeah, I know it's all waste. Like, no. You're a waste on him. You're better than this.
Yeah. Not shy. So the other knights decide to hit the Minosaur with all their power-ups just to see what will work.
And Konello overhears them talking.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Crayon is literally draining himself of slime to fill 2 buckets for Geshileus' plan to basically turn the slime into rain and create 500 more water Minosaurs.
If you have time to complain, if you have the energy to complain, you have the energy to keep working. No, that's not how that works. Geshileus is an asshole.
He's a real slave driver.
He's literally a slave driver.
Yeah.
He
So
he doesn't want opinions. He wants results.
yeah. So we even feel sorry for this twisted, sadistic little monster because of how rude this guy is. So the Ryu soldiers find the Minosaur. The Ryu soldiers change an attack. None of their power-ups are effective, but it is kind of a fun fight. Kriana is staggering with 2 buckets of slime.
Right, he's
Basically telling himself to throw away any unnecessary thoughts and just keep...
This is a literal form of torture.
Yep. Carry these heavy buckets down the street and up
and up
a couple flights of stairs
to the top of the building to make it rain. And like the whole time Korean is telling himself to just lose all emotion and like to not have any like opinions or thoughts. Like, this is psychological warfare.
Yeah, this didn't seem like the first time it kind of felt like it was humorous, like, oh, that's when I stopped being able to laugh, like, okay, that's not too bad. But then as we get into this, it's like, whoa.
Like, yeah, no.
This is pretty dark.
This is like reprogramming him.
Yeah. So knocked out of form, kind of low attacks. Of course, he's only here for Akane. He Ryusoul changes into Ryusoul Gold. He fights some grunts. He has Chainsaw Dagger as well.
Yeah, we get a pretty good introduction fight this time around. We get a lot of good use of the grunts themselves, and like how he reacts to them, which I like to see. Actual like reaction to what the enemy has.
Yeah, there's actually a chance that they will hit the Rangers. And he has to dodge the attacks. So he also has some power-up armor. Beady Beady Soul, which is the electric equivalent of Meta Meta Soul. And he defeats the Minosaur with the lightning.
They could have given him anything, and they gave him lightning.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun fight. Got some GoPro camera going on. So Crayon has collapsed on some stairs, and he has a dream of when Tank Joe and Waizaru were somewhat nice to him.
So this is like, I like this because this isn't just character development for Creon. This is like retroactive like development for Tank Joe, where, because like you remember early on, it's like, okay, Creon told Tank Joe like, hey, I give you 10 points for that, and Tank Joe's just like, and what can I spend these points on? And thinking about their relationship was kind of like, I think it was kind of like an older brother picking on his younger sibling kind of thing, because Creon definitely thinks of Tank Joe fondly.
Yeah.
And of course, Waizaru is just fun to be around. The coward.
But also very bipolar.
Yeah. He's a prick, yeah, but he is fun to just watch.
Yeah. So Gachuleus appears before the knights, but he doesn't say his name, and asks, why should I tell you my name?
I was honestly expecting him to say, why should I tell the name of people that are not going to live long enough to remember it? I was expecting him to say something like that.
Yeah. But still pretty funny, because literally every general in Sentai history shows up and says who they are.
Well, yeah, you gotta brag to the heroes, like, this is the name of the guy that's gonna beat you.
Yeah. But he tells them that the end is near. Of course,
it is not. This guy is just the next Tank Joe. He's gonna go down hard.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then Wiser is gonna come back.
Maybe. So Kanalo won't join them. He's looking for a bride. Yeah. Melto asks where he's been, though, and he tells them at the bottom of the ocean. And then we cut to his mech and some old, well-lit Japanese buildings underwater.
The Dragon Palace.
Yep. It's basically the Japanese version of Rapture for you Bioshock fans. But yeah. Pretty fun episode.
Yeah, solid episode, really. Good introduction to the new Ranger that makes him stand out with his own unique personality. We get the standard, oh, I'm not going to join you because that's not what I'm interested in, that we tend to get with 6. We get like character development for the villains, which is more than we can say for the Time Jackers.
Yep.
And we didn't even get a mech fight because this episode didn't need one. I appreciate that.
True.
Like the mech fights are like a trope of Sentai. I just like it when they don't force one in that's gonna be over in a minute anyways.
Yeah. They did force in the first fight, though, with that throwback monster suit that just got deleted in 1 second. But that's okay. You gotta see.
That was just to like get the ball rolling on like, hey, there's a new Ryusoulger.
Yeah. Yeah, my only problem is with the actor. Like, he doesn't have that much facial expression.
Oh, I think that's part of his charm.
I guess.
Like, he's trying to court these women while barely showing any emotion. Like, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. I love it.
Yeah. Okay.
It's how you make a silly character without making them exaggerated.
I see.
I might be looking into something unintended here, but that's how I'm looking at this.
Yep, maybe. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Crayon. I doubt he'll become a good guy. But...
No, like there's a small possibility that he could be another Lucky Roo at the end of the show, but as it stands right now, that is not going to happen. Lucky Roo worked for the Daeboth Army, Daeboth Army, just because he was born into it. But he was like a child character. He was just kind of sticking with his effective family. He got involved a few times because, hey, this is what we do, because we're the bad guys. And even made a monster at least once. But ultimately, he wasn't a bad guy. He was basically just a kid with a bad influence. Creon, however, enjoys this. He gets into it. He has fun with it, which is why Galagaleus, with no emotion at all, is like hitting him super hard. He's not being allowed to have fun with it.
True.
So, under that idea, I don't see Creon becoming a good guy, but we've got a whole season ahead of us.
True. And more Druidon to come.
It's weird having the villains like spoon-fed to us like this, but hey, I'm down for the experimentation. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, especially since it's not necessarily going to be like one dies, okay, move on to the next. Another dies, move on to the next. Like now we have 3 running around.
Right, like the introduction of Galagaleus making Wizero go, nope. It just proves that, like, yeah, we could get multiple villains before any of them are resolved. Hey, we passed 20 minutes this week.
Yay.
We actually had something to talk about this time.
Yep.
So, preview for next week shows that we're going to actually be seeing Gold's mech in action, which will be great to see. So thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow with more Kamen Rider Zeo, and next Tuesday for more Ryusoulger. See you next time.